I'm Anthony Padilla.
And I'm Ian Hecox.
And you're watching Behind the Brand with Brian Elliott. Sound like a boy band.
Hey, I'm Brian Elliott. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Brand. Today I'm here with Anthony and Ian from Smosh. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I usually ask my guests, how'd you get this job?
Sheer luck.
Yeah?
I think it's like a combination of
luck and then being able to put a lot of effort and time into it and really dedicate our entire lives to it.
And just timing. We were sort of in the right place at the right time, and we sort of seized that moment.
So early, just, YouTube's a baby, just recently birthed.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was not a lot of content on YouTube at that time, and not a lot of good content. So there was a lot of opportunity for people who were passionate about what they were doing. There was a lot of opportunity to sort of rise above everything else.
Yeah, a lot of people watch the show, they're entrepreneurs, and there's a term called first mover advantage. You think that was definitely at play here?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like right now there's so much more competition. I feel like it's a lot harder to be seen. But then again, now if you are seen, you can rise to the top immediately.
Yeah, I guess that's a question I wanted to know from you guys is, now that you've had a little bit of success, you got some traction, you have a following, 20 plus million subscribers, right? So is it easier today, right now, to start something brand new? Or was it easier back then because you had, not as far to fall?
I think it's different. I think there's probably the same amount of opportunity, but there's different ways of going at it now. Back at the beginning of YouTube, you just had to get one video on the front page, and then that could usually expose your channel to everybody. Now it's a little weird. Like there's certain ways that people have been able to work the algorithm, and they can amass like a huge amount of followers like very, very quickly. There's channels that I've never even heard of that have like 3 million to 5 million to 9 million subscribers now.
Yeah, well, what do they do? Can you game the system? Because I think that's what YouTube is really good about is, keeping all that in.
I mean, you can't really game the system, but you could learn the algorithm, and YouTube's constantly changing it. But at one point, YouTube stopped rewarding just plain views and started rewarding more watch time, and that's when people that were creating a lot of long videos, like gaming videos in probably 2010 or 2011, that really started blowing up because they were able to push out so much content.
Right. So you're saying short form was winning over long form?
Yeah, short form was winning over it for a long time, and then when they changed that algorithm, everything flipped.
It's something I struggle with too. Like this show is kind of similar to like a TED Talk, right? Like TED Talks are like 19 minutes long. You guys watched any of these TED Talks?
Yeah.
So this show, and we do it for a lot of different reasons, we'll break it up into two pieces. Like we'll shoot the long form, which could be 20 to 30 minutes long. It's just pure goodness. And then for those people who want the crib notes, we'll cut it into 3 to 5 minute little bite-sized pieces.
Right.
For people like me.
Yeah, who are either consuming through their phone or they don't have time or whatnot. They want to get it bite-sized. And for me, the jury's still out. Like long form still gets about as much traction and engagement as a short form.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much just that there's a different audience for both. There's people that want to go on YouTube, and then there's other people that just want to stick to watching clips on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah. It seems like I've heard the term like lean in and lean back. Like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, these are like lean in types of experiences, right? Where you're engaged or you're laughing or you're swiping or whatever. And like YouTube's very much lean back, right? Like
yeah, I feel like those lean in types of content pieces are a lot more disposable. They feel like they're just really quick, and sometimes you're not even, you're allowed to not put your sound on, so they just have text and subtitles over it. And I think it's personally, I feel like it's a lot more, the content on YouTube at least is a lot more worthwhile because it feels like it has more longevity. Yeah.
So, again, I'll go back to, I think the question that everyone wants to know is like, so you had this cool, fun idea, was getting some traction, but like how long do you give that great idea until you, and I'll use quotes on my side, get a real job? Like, talk to me about the journey, the struggle. The struggle is real. Yeah. We're in it right now. But like, talk to us about that journey, that process to when you realized this was going to be a full-time job.
Yeah, there was a bit of struggle for us because when we first got started, there was no one making any money online at all. It was kind of crazy to hear of anyone doing any kind of ad deal. It wasn't for 2 or 2.5 years that YouTube even started paying people. So we were making our videos while, you know, Ian had a job at Chuck E. Cheese as the mascot. I was designing websites on my computer in my free time. But otherwise, we were just going to community college and doing these videos. And there was no way for us to make money or to even buy equipment for our videos. We wanted to look better, to stand out from all the flood of other people that were coming into YouTube at the time. So we started a mini merch business, and we were packing shirts in my bedroom and going to local post office and selling them there. And it was a struggle until YouTube started paying.
Yeah, did you get pushback like from friends or family, like, hey, so what's your 5-year plan? Or like,
I think that the videos were successful enough that people were like, oh, like there's something here, like this.
Right.
Even though you're not making money from it yet, there are a lot of eyeballs on it, and sometimes it just takes a while for stuff like that to develop. So I think everybody was on our side.
Yeah, they all saw potential in it. They didn't know what it was, but they knew it was there.
Yeah.
Talked about this movie.
Yeah, we have a new movie called Ghostmates.
Rent is due on the 2nd of each month, and I legally have to inform you that the last tenant died on the premises.
She was totally joking.
Hi, I'm Eddie, and I'm dead. Ta-da!
And we got to work with YouTube through it, and they are really the best people we've ever worked with. They only had very minor notes. We pretty much got full creative control over the entire movie.
That's cool. This is one of the reasons I started doing this online as well, is because more creative control, right? Less committees, less executives saying, I don't get it, or whatever they say, you know. Talk to us about the transition from, you're not going to doing a deal with maybe Warner. You're not like a Tom Hanks making, $50 million a movie yet. But like, talk to us about the transition from maybe like amateur YouTuber to now professional YouTuber slash, professional actor, comedian, writer, director. Talk to us about your process.
Yeah, I think that it was a slow process from just Anthony and I with the webcam to what we're doing now with like a full crew and everything. It was just sort of a process where we just sort of grew with the kind of content that we were making. We grew the crew with the type of content we needed to make. So we started with it was just Anthony and I and a camera on a tripod,
Yeah.
and then we got a camera guy, and then we were like, okay, now the camera looks a little better, but the sound sucks. So we got a sound guy,
Yeah.
and then we're like, okay, we need like better props and stuff. So we got a prop person and
And we got a producer to help us find locations and put together all of our crew that we needed. So it really was just such a slow transition, but there definitely is a difference now. We're making videos months in advance. We start the writing process for something that we know isn't coming out for a long time. And really, since there's just so many people working on it, you kind of just have to have the machine oiled really well. Before we would just be like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. Let's shoot this video. But now it's really become a business.
Yeah. How do you guys get along? Like, talk to us about your complementary skills or places where you've maybe agreed, disagreed in the past.
Yeah.
I think, since we've been friends since 6th grade, we already know each other really, really well. We know what sort of like, well, not sets the other person off, but like basically like we understand each other. So I think that's why, our partnership works so well, as opposed to many other comedic partnerships where sometimes maybe ego gets in the way, or people are like, no, this joke's funnier, so like, F off. I don't think I've ever told you to F off about a joke.
No.
So I think it's like we like because we come from that friendship background in the first place, we've been able to be really good business partners as well.
Right. What advice would you give to young YouTubers? And then we'll shift gears and we'll talk about being an entrepreneur, starting a new business, even partnerships and that kind of thing.
If you are a new YouTuber and you're trying to create stuff, I think my biggest advice would be to create something that you're excited about. Don't just create something because you're trying to make some money. I think people online, especially viewers that are on YouTube, they can tell when you're passionate about something or when you're just trying to make a quick buck. Definitely do your own thing and be unique. Don't just watch and see what someone else is doing that's successful and try to copy it, because if you do that, there's no reason for someone to watch you over them. They already have the other person to watch.
Yeah, I would say, also, get help from friends, get their opinions, find people that have opinions that you can trust. And yeah, you never know what kind of help you can get from people that you know.
Maybe let's talk about building a YouTube channel. Let's talk about some of the building blocks. How do I get more subscribers? How do I get more views? Talked about some of the fundamentals, the heavy lifting kind of stuff. Beyond like, be passionate, be authentic, be your true self. Like, what else can you be doing that maybe we can't read in the YouTube playbook, which is online, we can all find it,
More of the logistical business side of it.
Like, I want to know the real secrets. Like, how do I do this thing? Because we have a YouTube channel too, and still trying to crack the code, right?
Well, the code is really hard to crack because YouTube is always changing the code, and it really boils down to what that algorithm is. And right now, I think it's a lot of making sure your title and thumbnail are clickable, and when someone sees it, they're not just going to be like, oh, this is a fake piece of content that I don't want to watch, or this looks boring. It needs to be really eye-grabbing, and also being consistent, and also making slightly longer videos. I'd say 5 to 10 minutes long at least.
Okay. What does your thumbnail look like? If I'm going to make a thumbnail out of this, what should it look like?
Right now, if you really want to game the system, it would be us crying, and the title would say, like, I have something to tell you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have something to tell us?
There's your thumbnail right there.
There you go, yeah.
That's
See?
really sad.
And we have something to tell you, and that's how to be an entrepreneur.
But don't say you should totally trust our advice.
It worked for us.
So do you think like entrepreneurs are born, or do you think they're made? Do you think it's something that we can learn?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it really has to do with how hard you're willing to work and how hard you're willing to be dedicated to the thing that you're doing, where you aren't necessarily making money from the start. So a lot of it is just how much passion you have behind the thing that you're making and how much you can work on it, knowing that you'll eventually maybe get paid for what you're doing. But then I think a lot of it is also just luck, really.
I think it is just like depending on whatever your passion is, because I think that there's probably one specific thing that drives every person, and if that person were to find that one thing that truly drives them, then they could be that kind of person. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any aspiration to be an actor or a writer or a YouTuber or a filmmaker or anything. And we just kind of stumbled into it, and I found that I really am passionate about it.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why we've been able to keep this thing going for so long, and I didn't just go, oh, well, I just don't care about this anymore. So I think, sometimes you might not know what you're truly passionate about. You might not know what you're good at until you just kind of stumble across it.
Yeah. So actually, maybe that's a lesson we can underscore too. It's kind of subtle, but like, real entrepreneurs don't really have a plan B.
Right?
They're just,
That's true.
They're all in.
All in.
Yeah, and that's what we did. I mean, when we started YouTube, we were going to community college full time, and then when it started making a little bit of money, we're like, okay, this is the point. We have to just leave college and just dedicate to this, because we couldn't do YouTube full time and college full time.
And we always felt like we could go back to college. You're like, we have this one opportunity here with YouTube and the internet, and it's moving fast, and we can either jump on it or get off.
That's actually a question I wanted to ask you too. Like, so some of your videos, it's really fun. They poke fun at like millennials versus Gen X or older people. How are you? Talk about that a little bit. Like, how you're dealing with generation gaps or different age people. Or are you trying to work with people your same age, or like, do you see a distinctive difference between, you know, the millennials who get such a bad rap all the time and people who are older or younger? Talk about that.
I think we just make content that resonates with us. So right now, it seems like the biggest, hottest thing is to just put all the blame on millennials. So
Yeah. Well, millennials do suck.
yeah.
We're spoiled.
Yeah. But but I think that's kind of like the hot trend in like the media right now is to like just say like millennials, they're the worst. And
But you know, it's justified though, right?
right, of course. And even our friend Mari, who's on our Smosh Games channel, she was on the most recent Survivor, and it's millennials versus Gen X.
No, I'm a big fan. I'm watching it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I mean that's we always just make stuff that's relevant to us. So with stuff like the millennials video, the MasterChef millennials, we just poke fun of the fact that you know media is so obsessed with this idea that millennials are somehow different than the older people that were once that age, and we always just kind of do stuff that's relevant to us.
Cool. Final parting words. Talk to me about, you know, leaving a legacy. Talk to me about, you know, looking off into the future. Like, what do you see happening? What mark do you want to leave on this earth? What is it all about for Anthony and Ian?
I mean, I think it's really all about making people laugh and giving people something to look forward to. In terms of our future, we're just looking to create more stuff that our audience is excited about. There's not really a specific thing, and there never has really been a specific goal that we were trying to achieve. And I think that's why we've been able to stay pretty relevant, is by constantly creating new things and not just setting our sights on one thing.
As far as leaving a legacy, when I'm dead, I really don't care. 'Cause I'm dead at that point, so I don't need a statue. Maybe I'll make a playground.
They can make 2 statues for me instead.
Okay, yeah. So once I'm gone from this earth, I don't need to leave a legacy. Screw it.
How about like at least leave your wardrobe? I mean, you got something going on there.
Fresh clothes,
I'll
dude.
donate this to Goodwill. And pass it on to the next one.